Well, lack of space can be a big problem for anyone who lives in a smaller home or apartment. Now, you might think you don't have room, but our next guest says with a few tricks you can maximize your space. Meryl Starr is a professional organizer, author, and motivational coach, and is here to show us how to do all this. Welcome to CT Style.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So you live in Manhattan, so
Yes.
you don't have the luxury of having a basement. You have to make the most of small spaces, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very important when you live in Manhattan, and even in any space, whether it's a large space or a small space, it's so important, as we talked about before, to get rid of the clutter.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Well, I was out on leave. I cleaned every drawer, every closet. I mean, it was great to have the time to do it, but you feel good after it's completed.
Absolutely, and that's the key. Once you get rid of that clutter and that negativity, you feel fabulous.
Right.
So that's your incentive. Once you start in a small space and you get rid of all the clutter, it gives you the incentive and the motivation to keep going on to all your other spaces.
Now, do you have a rule if you haven't used something? Is there a time period?
I don't
throw it out?
really. I don't really. I think it's very important that you must love everything that you have, and you must have a good use for it. Once, if you love it and if you have a good use for it, keep it.
Right.
Everything else, goodbye.
All right, let's take a look at some pictures, and you
Yes.
can explain to us, Meryl, what we are looking at here.
So this is a 350 square foot apartment. So
That's
you can
tiny.
see,
That's pretty small,
tiny,
right?
Tiny. So there was nothing there. So from here, my idea was to create a chic, functional, and organized space.
All right.
Actually, I worked with IKEA and Container Store on this. They helped me with this project.
Is that the same room?
Yes. Could
Come
you
on.
believe how
Wow.
gorgeous? I added this bed, which has under the bed storage.
That's key, right?
I added 4,800 inches of space underneath the bed.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Really making the most of the space, because otherwise, I mean, what can you put under the
Chic,
bed?
functional, and organized.
Looks
right?
terrific.
Yeah.
All right,
looks
let's
great.
see an office picture before and after.
This was the office. If you see here, I also painted the wall. You want to do that for contrast, and added some mirrors to make the space look a little bit larger. Are we going back?
No, that was that. But I'm sure the mirror actually makes a huge difference,
Yes,
right?
totally. I put mirrors all over this space.
I love that.
It's great.
Okay, we have a closet.
Oh, this was the before closet. One bar, very teeny.
It's making me nervous.
I know, very teeny. It made me nervous when I saw it, especially knowing how much had to go in there.
Okay, so what did you do?
Then we went from that to this.
I mean, it's organized. You have some shelving.
It's organized. There's shelving. There is also lucite drawers. I used every single inch of that space.
Well,
so there are lucite drawers. You could see everything.
Even behind the door, did you do something?
Yes, it's an accessory closet
right?
holder
Yeah.
where there's necklaces and handbags, and it just came out fabulous.
Looked good.
And everything
clean.
went in there, and clean, and organized, and no clutter.
Fantastic. All right, let's take a look at the kitchen. I think a lot of people have clutter in their kitchens.
Yes, this was here. I added those stools to make it feel like, you know, a dining room table there. So that's what we did in this space. And then if we have some pictures of the drawers, actually there were no drawers in this space.
Okay.
So let's see the next photo.
Yikes.
Okay, this was underneath the sink. Now you could see, do you see the pipes there?
I see it all.
I mean, you couldn't even, it was a large space,
But it was
because
taken
of
up with the pipes, you couldn't put anything
forget
under
about
there.
it. So what I did was I added pull-out drawers, added a little shelf, if you could see that in the back there, for some storage, and the pull-outs gave you the accessibility to see everything.
Right, you have to go digging. And the paper
Yes, not
towels
anymore.
are
And the
accessible?
paper yeah, there are no drawers, like I said, in this space. So what I did was I added baskets, I added a shelf here, and I used bowl jars. You see where the knives and the forks are?
Sure, yeah.
So there's they're sitting in bowl jars.
Wow.
So, yeah, easy
That's
breezy.
fantastic. And I know that you have a radio show, you have a book. Where can we find some more info?
I've had 2 radio shows, I have 2 books, and for more information, you can go to merylstarr.com, read my blog, read my Twitter feed.
And get organized, right?
And get organized.
Very good, Meryl. Thanks so much for being here.
You're so welcome.